All right. Today, my friends, we're going to talk about cartridges. These are the brands I'm going to discuss. Right here, we've got, starting at the left, we have Quail. We have Needlehouse, Sovereign, DM Tattoo. Those are Dragonhawk. These are Stigma, FYT, and WJX cartridges that I'm going to attempt to review, because there's so many brands out there, and these are some of the affordable cartridges that you probably wonder, are they any good? They don't cost a whole lot, and I'm going to kind of answer those questions for you. So, starting with the Quail. Turn this around. If you look at the Quail cartridges, they're actually made by a company known as So Long Tattoo. They are the same ones that make the Stigma cartridges and the Rain cartridges. They're a Chinese company, but they make quality products. And the Quail cartridges are super cheap. You get 50 cartridges instead of 20. And so for 50 cartridges, I paid $30. A lot cheaper than some of the other ones on there. But they were great cartridges. They seem to be consistent. They have a two-piece design, just like a Cheyenne cartridge. And the needles are sharp. They're 316 stainless medical grade steel. They have medical grade plastic tips, and they work great. So I give my check mark on those. Next, we're going back to these are the Needlehouse. They sell them on Amazon. That's the only place I've seen them. They actually they do fairly well for the price. They're very, very inexpensive. They're a one-piece design. They're not all consistent. Sometimes you will get one that the needle is up against the side of the tube instead of against the back, and I take them apart and just kind of twist them and straighten them out. But they do seem to be sharp. I haven't had any burrs on them, and they tattoo okay. They're not the greatest, but like I said, they're very cheap. I can pull a good line with them, so I'm not gonna diss them. Next is one of my favorite brands I'm gonna bring up here, Sovereign. These are made by what's the name of it? I believe it is Needle Parlor. Yeah, the needleparlor.com, which is a great place to buy supplies, and they are awesome. They're a one-piece design, but very consistent. No wiggle. I've got the magnums. I've got the liners. The liners are tight. They pull a crisp line. They hold ink well. They're all around awesome cartridge. I highly recommend them. They're very sharp. Highly recommend it. That's one of my favorite cartridges here. And then next on the list, we've got the DM Tattoo. Something I bought online somewhere, and strangely, these seem like they're well crafted. They got a very heavy plastic shell. It's kind of an odd shape. They tattoo okay. The tips aren't angled. It's a solid long straight tip, and they have not a lot of room for the needle in there, so they don't have the best ink flow, but they don't tattoo bad, but I'm not going to recommend those. Next is just the plain old Dragonhawk cartridges, and strangely, these are pretty good for cheap cartridges. They're not the best. They've got a little bit of wiggle, and they don't have the stiffest membrane. But by the way, all of these cartridges have membranes, but they're okay. They're not that bad. And then we come to the Stigma cartridges. They're made by the same company as Quail, by So Long Tattoo. And Stigma cartridges are awesome. They're just like a Cheyenne cartridge. They're black and clear, two-piece design. And I've only had the one size. That's an 8 round liner, and they pull an awesome line. They hold ink well. They do a great job. They actually remind me a lot of the Quail cartridges. They're made out of 316 stainless steel, with medical grade plastic. Same thing, 2-piece design. Awesome. And then FYT, another fantastic brand. You'll see a lot of big name artists using these. These are an exact copy of a Cheyenne needle. In fact, I believe they had to pay Cheyenne for their copyright on it. So they, yeah, or for their patent on it. They had to pay for patent rights on it because they identically copied the Cheyenne needle. They're just gray and clear instead of black and clear. And they tattoo awesome, just like a Cheyenne would. They're a 2-piece design. They look just like the Stigmas or the Quails, 2-piece design with clear tips. And they're great. They very consistent, very good needles. I've got the 3 tight bug pin liners, and those things are awesome. They're like the tiniest needles ever, but they're great. And then the newest addition that I just got recently, which I am highly impressed with, are Dragonhawk's new WJX line. These things are bad. They're awesome, awesome, awesome. Bad to the bone. They are a different design than I've ever seen on any other cartridge. They have an odd shape. They're a 1-piece design. And even the liners and the mags have like strange ribs in the cartridge that are supposed to help with ink flow. They're just a new scientific kind of take on things, and they tattoo fantastically. The liners pull up so much ink in them that you can line forever without re-dipping, and they hold the ink and it flows well. I've got nothing bad to say about these. They have a super stiff membrane. They feel very solid. They have 0 wiggle. The way their guides are made are awesome. So out of these, I would say my favorite go-to needles out of these are going to be FYT, the WJX, the Sovereigns, which I love, and then some of my everyday needles also are the Stigmas and the Quails are great. So out of all those, I mean, you can't go wrong. For inexpensive needles, they're great. If you have any questions, put it in the comments or shoot me a message. Like I said, all of these have a membrane, a safety membrane, so no ink can go back into your machine. That keeps things safe and sterile. They're all made out of surgical steel and medical grade plastic, as far as I know. And they all tattoo okay. I mean, there's none of them that I would say I couldn't tattoo with, honestly. They all pull a decent line if you know what you're doing. My favorite magnums, I believe, are going to be the Sovereigns and the FYTs. And well, no, more recently, the WJXs are awesome magnums. I like those probably the most. And then my favorite liners in there are probably going to be the FYT liners and the Sovereign liners, and the WJX. Just those 3 brands are just awesome right there. You can't go wrong with those needles. There's no point in paying the price that Cheyenne charges for needles, especially when you can buy FYTs, which are identical to them. But as far as I'm concerned, the Stigmas and the Quails made by So Long Tattoo are almost identical to them. They all tattoo the same. So, some of them may have a little sharper needle or a little tighter clusters, but, these are all well matched to their tube size. All of those have a printed number on the tube, so you're getting the right size tube for the needles. The Sovereigns, the WJX, the FYTs, the Quails, and the Stigmas all have that. As well as the Reigns, I believe they sell. They look cool, sort of like a quadrant needle. I haven't tried those yet, but I'm interested in doing that, and I'll let you know as soon as I do. But as far as my new favorite right now is going to be the WJX. Those things are cool, man. I've only done 2 tattoos with them, and they were freaking awesome. So, anyways, that's that. If you have any questions, shoot them to me. I feel like I'm rambling now, so I'm going to cut it short. Later.